Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss the problem first repeating element. So it is a easy question. The difficulty. So the question is given an array ARR. So we need to find the first repeating element. So the element should be occur more than once and the index of the first occurrence should be the smallest. So that is the output they are expecting. So the repeating number which has the smallest first occurrence index. That's it. So note is the position you need to return is according to the one based indexing, not the traditional zero based indexing. So just we need to return the output as the current index plus 1. That's it. So if you see in the sample input 1, the ARR is 1534356. So in this, the repeating elements we can see as 5 and 3. They are the two repeating elements. So if you see the first occurrence, the 5 element first occurrence is 0, 1, the index 1, and 3 has first occurrence as 2. So based on the given condition, we need to return the repeating element which has the least first occurrence index. So the output will be 5. What what is the index of it? It is 1, but we need to assume that as a 1 based indexing. So simply we need to return as the 1 plus 1 equals to 2. So in the second example, the elements are 1, 2, 3, 4. So all the elements are unique. There are no repeating elements. So obviously the output will be minus 1. That's it. So expected complexities are the time should be big of n and the space is also big of n. You can say it is asked in Amazon and Oracle. So how can we solve? So in this question we are going to use a concept which is hash map. Hash map is used in this type of questions for mainly the frequency map, in which we store the frequency of each and every element as a key and its frequency in the given array. Like for example, for the sample input 1, so let us write first the things used. We use the hash map, loop, condition. That's it. So the steps are going to be: first step, declare the hash map. Frequencies of store all the elements frequencies from the array ARR. And the third step is to use we use a second loop to find the repeating element from the linear search traversal. So after finding the repeating element, just return the index plus 1. That's it. So if after completing the whole execution of the loop, if we didn't return any value, so that means all the elements are unique and therefore there is no occurrence index. So the output is minus 1 if all the elements are unique, as in the second condition. So we are going to the same steps in the code implementation. So first thing, we need to declare the dependencies or the requirements we are going to use. So as I said, we are going to use a hash map. So hash map, in the hash map we are going to store the frequencies like the element from the array and its number of times repeatance in the array. So the element of the array is of type integer. As we can see, the type of array is int and the frequency is also a number, so it is integer. So freq or the frequencies equals to new hash map. So declaration of the hash map is completed. So the first step is completed. So second step is to store the frequencies from the array. So how to get one by element from the array? It is array of n from ARR. Using a for each loop, we'll put into the frequency map frequency dot put method. Put method takes two values, the key value and the value, key and value, key value pairs. So the key is obviously n, and the value. This is where it is going to be a small tricky one. So there is a method called get or default in the map or the hash map, which gets we give a key value and the key and the value in the method also. So it takes if checks if in the present or given map is the given key is present or not. If it is present, then it returns that value. If it is not present, then the value which we give in the method itself, the value with the key, the value is given as the output. So the same way, frequency dot put n comma again frequency dot get our default of what is the key value, it is n comma the default value will be going to 0. So means it is a new number and it is not present in the map. So the initial will be 0 and y plus 1 means as soon as we find the number one time from the array, we will increment its count by plus 1. So at the first time the count of one number is 1, and if you find another time the same number, the count will be 2. The key value is not changed. For the respect to key value, the value is changed like the frequency plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 like that. So this one single loop we use to store the frequencies. This is a important part in this program. So the third step, we use a loop and find the repeating element. So simply use a loop. We need to find the index and work with the index. So use a normal loop. I is equals to 0, I less than array dot length. So what we need to check? We need to check if so we store the frequencies of each and every element into the map. So simply use the same map. Frequency dot get of what is the element, current element. It is array of I. If its frequency value is greater than 1, means it is a repeating element, then simply return the index value. But we need to note the note is there will be following the 1 batch indexing. So simply current index only, but not 0 based, it is 1 based. So simply plus 1. So if the whole loop completes, then it means after completing the whole loop, all the elements are unique. So this if is not executed, so the output will be written as -1. So return the same value. Sample test case is passed. Hidden test cases are also passed. So if we analyze the time and space complexities, so we can see the hash map, which take the big O of n space as usual, because it depends on the input size by we are adding here. So this loop takes big O of n because it also depends on the size of array for the iterations. This loop also same big O of n. So the final time is going to be big O of n plus big O of n, which is 2 into big O of n, and again it is constant multiplied by big O of n is big O of n. So space complexity is, we can see the hash map takes big O of n, we wrote there. So the time and space complexities are big O of n and big O of n. So comparing with the expected ones, they both are matching. So our solution is acceptable and perfectly suitable for this program given the constraints. The problem link is given in the description. So go and practice the problem for this question, first repeating element and the occurrence of it. Thank you for watching.